You're watching Cover to Cover, our guide to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read. This week we're taking a look at a book of Sikh Studies by Dr. Gobind Singh Mansukhani. This is a book that was published in 1989 and is very much a product of its time period, when in the 1980s and even into the 1990s a lot of academics and scholars of all different expertise would publishing and writing books that introduced people to all of the different facets involved in the Sikh way of life. This particular book typifies that whole time period, as well as the idea of what Sikhi is all about. Now, this isn't the kind of book that would necessarily stand out on your bookcase, and I wouldn't even necessarily describe it as a must-have in your personal library. However, it is a very good book to own and to read when you are trying to introduce yourself to Sikhi and the differing parts of it. Let's dive right in and take a look at what I'm talking about. So this particular edition is a soft cover edition. I'm pretty certain this book was only ever published in softback, and as you can see from the contents, it's pretty straightforward. It goes right in. It starts with Sikhi, its theory and practice, then has chapters devoted to each of the 10 Guru Sahibs, then has an entire chapter on Sikh ethics, followed by a chapter on Sikh scripture that then goes into the Guru Granth Sahib, Dasam Granth, some important sacred compositions such as the Japji Sahib, Asa Diwar, Sukhmani Sahib and Anand Sahib, before going on to another chapter that talks all about practical parts of Sikhi, so worship, the Gurdwara, Sad Sangat, Langar, Kirtan, Ardas, etc., before closing with two chapters, one on Sikh rites and ceremonies, and then a final chapter on important Sikh festivals. There is a very handy glossary at the back, followed by a bibliography and an index that covers the whole book. It's not the kind of book you want to have on your bedside table because you will fall asleep reading it. The text kind of drains you a little bit that way. But as I said, it gives you a great introduction into all of those different sections that we spoke about. In addition to the chapters, there are a number of images that are included at the end of the book when it comes to the chapter on Sikh festivals. They are only in black and white, but again, they do kind of add a tiny little bit of context. It is actually fairly well written in English. It does simplify, perhaps oversimplify some particular elements, but it does give you a good general introduction. This isn't necessarily going to be the best book you ever read, but for those of you watching who are teenagers or early 20s or new to Sikhi, and those of you with children or family that you'd want to understand some basic concepts at a very introductory level, this is a good book to pick up and read. It's not going to send you down the wrong road, down a path that's a little bit strange, which can happen with some books in this genre. I've said the word introductory or introduction a number of times throughout this cover to cover, and it's because it typifies what this book is all about. I think anyone who is new to Sikhi, or anyone who sometimes thinks that they're missing some very important pieces in the jigsaw puzzle of what Sikhi and Sikh Studies is all about, should take a look at this book. Certainly in its genre, it's one of the better ones to read. But we want to know what you think, so please leave a comment below, make sure you subscribe to keep watching more Cover to Cover, our guide at naujawani to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read.